Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode. So today what we're going to be doing, tomorrow is the start of week 4 of NFL action. And this last week was not a good one for me. A couple teams that really they surprised me. So let's take a look at week number 3. So I started this a week late, so right now I am 22-9. I picked the Bills, and yes, of course, I picked the Packers, who ended up, laying kind of an egg on Sunday. It was a very, very lackluster offensive performance. The defense, once again, did great, held the Browns to no points up until about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and then things happened. We'll cover that in another video. I had the Minnesota Vikings over the Bengals. I had the Steelers over the Patriots, even though that was a closer matchup than I thought it was going to be. Again, the Steelers defense starting to look a little bit more alive than they have the first couple of games. And I did pick the Rams to win and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Another surprising game that, once again, I will be covering in full in another video, and I'll be explaining to you guys why I feel like Philadelphia, while they are 3-0, while they are the defending champions, I think they might have a little bit of trouble in terms of how they're operating their games. New York Jets and Tampa Bay, a lot closer than we thought it was going to be, but Tampa Bay comes out with the win. Washington Commanders over the Las Vegas Raiders, and my boy Marcus Mariota started that game. He had 1 touchdown for throwing and 1 touchdown rushing. It was great to see him back on the field. I did pick the Houston Texans to win, as most people did. Close game all throughout, but the Jacksonville Jaguars came up with the win on that one. Indianapolis Colts over the Tennessee Titans. And I picked the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't think I will ever do that again. Because, my God, that was awful. Chargers over the Broncos, 2 former Duck quarterbacks going head-to-head, but I did have the Chargers. I figured the Chargers would probably have a little bit less trouble than what they did against the Broncos, but still were able to pull out the victory. The Seattle Seahawks against the New Orleans Saints. I did pick the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Chicago Bears, and oh my Lord, the Dallas Cowboys made Caleb Williams Jr. look like Peyton Manning reincarnate or something, because wow, their defense just could not handle anything. San Francisco over Arizona. That is a game that I really have I don't really care about either one of those teams, and honestly, I don't pay much attention to them. So, but I did figure that San Francisco is going to win. Again, another close game. Kansas City Chiefs over the New York Giants. As of what we've heard now, Russell Wilson has now been benched, and he will no longer be the starter there after not being able to throw any touchdowns that game. And I did pick the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Detroit Lions in Monday Night Football in a game that turned out that it really exposed the Ravens' lack of defensive awareness. Derrick Henry came up with a big fumble there in the fourth quarter to kind of change momentum for the Lions. And in the end, it was just too much for the Ravens to come back from. They were trying to come back from 2 touchdowns. They went for a 2-point conversion with about 45 seconds to go and onside kick, and neither one of those were successful. So, how did you guys do? What is the biggest surprise of this week? Well, I got to say that the biggest surprise for me was, yes, the Green Bay Packers. And we all know that I am a Green Bay Packer fan, and, my thoughts on the game were this. Offense needs to pick it up. They need to, the play calling, the execution. They were kind of running kind of a Philadelphia offense where they're just kind of trying to pick up, really, really, really conservative yardage. And we had Michael Golden had a great catch on the sideline there. He wasn't able to keep his footing and stay in bounds, or otherwise it could have been a touchdown. Not going to hold that against him. A lot of people in Packer Nation, they're not happy. I have made peace with this loss. The Packers always have 1 or 2 ugly games every year that one of them they at least lose. And we're just going to chalk this up on that. We're going to move on to Dallas. Micah Parsons returns to Dallas. season in terms of his trade and in terms of his contract negotiations with Jerry Jones. That will be very, very, very interesting. So, moving on, let's go ahead and take a look at this upcoming week. I'll do my picks live here. So, what game are you guys most looking forward to today? Obviously, I am looking forward to the Green Bay Packer-Dallas Cowboy game. So tomorrow night, we have the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. I calmed down ever since they have not really been on the radar anymore. I am still going to be picking the Seattle Seahawks over the Arizona Cardinals. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings is going to be an interesting game, I believe, and also going to be one of the first European games. I believe they're playing it in Ireland, and I am going to actually go with the Pittsburgh Steelers on this one. I think that the Steelers offense or Steelers defense will continue to get better. And I think that they are just the better 2-1 team. Washington Commanders and Atlanta Falcons. Like I said, I'm never going to pick the Atlanta Falcons again. Washington Commanders. And now on the Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints. I don't really think that has a whole lot of thought to it. Josh Allen and them, they're playing great. 3-0. Or New Orleans 0-3. Who knows? It could be that sleeper game at Green Bay Packer Cleveland ground game. But I am not going to bet money on it. And I'm not going to bet my reputation over my... or my record on it. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland Brown, Detroit Lions. Can Cleveland pick off another big win against a team that is projected to go deep into the playoffs? They did it last week against Green Bay. Can they do it again this week against the Detroit Lions? I'm going to have to think on that one for just a second, because the way that their defense played last week was pretty great. We can't put the entire loss on Green Bay. We do have to put part of the win on the Cleveland Browns. So let's come back to that pick. Carolina Panthers, New England Patriots. You know what? I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one. Chargers. Well, the Giants have the rookie quarterback starting this week. Chargers still have Justin Herbert starting this week. That's pretty much a no-brainer right there. We're going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers on that one. Kind of hard to bet against the Duck. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles. Again, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. I will be making another video on why I think that their offense is in trouble unless they make some drastic changes. But I am going to probably... 2-3-0 teams. 2-3-0 teams. Baker Mayfield has found ways to win, and so has Philadelphia. You know what? I like the underdog. Let's go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on that. It may come back to haunt me on this. Texas and I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to just go with what everyone else is picking on that one. Indianapolis and the Rams. Indianapolis, probably the most surprising team of this year. Coming in at 3-0 against Los Angeles Rams, who just came off that game that they should have won against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go Rams. I think that Rams are going to take care and give Indianapolis their first loss of the season. Jacksonville Jaguars and 49ers. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 49ers on that. Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Sunday night football, or Sunday, not Sunday night football. Again, a lot of people seem to be picking the Ravens, but after their showing last week against Detroit and against their and just how their defense just has so many holes in it seems like. Also with Derrick Henry, I don't know what the money is on him fumbling this week, but he has had one fumble in all 3 games of this year. So the Kansas City Chiefs are a team that they're coming off of a win. Baltimore's coming off of a tough loss. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this. It's a big AFC matchup. It will be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I think Andy Reid is going to have a good game plan for what's going on with Baltimore's defense. Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders. Chicago Bears coming off of a win in Dallas, which was it was a very good game for Caleb Williams. I think they found a lot of answers to some of the questions that they've had since the beginning of the season. The Raiders, Geno Smith, Pete Carroll. I'd really like to see Chicago lose. NFC North Division. I mean, even with the Bears there, the Bears aren't that team that are just going to be at the bottom anymore. They're going to be competing in every single game. I think that Caleb Williams is getting better. And I just don't see the Raiders having an answer for everything that Chicago, if they play the way that they played in Dallas, is able to produce. So we're going to go with the Bears on that. And then Sunday Night Football, we have the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you think I'm going to pick? Yeah. There's not even a question. And guys, I'm going to pick the Packers in every game. Yes, of course, there's a lot of money on it, and then I will probably do a little bit more thinking on this. Jets and Dolphins. Someone's getting their first win, unless, of course, it's a tie. Which stranger things have happened if we watched football last weekend with 4 blocked field goals in one day of football. It was a special teams extravaganza. I'm seeing a little bit of life in the Dolphins. Just a little bit. I think that they are trying to show that they are not going to be the bottom team this year. Maybe not make the playoffs, but I do think that they really, really, really are eager to compete, and I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I liked Mike McDaniel's game plan last week, and it just came out to making some poor decisions along with some other things going on in the field. So we're going to go with the Dolphins on this one. Cincinnati Bengals, Denver Broncos. Cincinnati Bengals got thrashed last week. I don't see a lot of answers for them, and I think that the Broncos are better than a 1-2 team. I do, and of course, Bo Nix, another Oregon guy. They went against the Chargers. They competed against the Chargers. They didn't lose by much. I think he had an okay game. I don't think you're going to see big production numbers out of him. I think it's going to be an overall team effort in terms of offense. And I am going to go with the Denver Broncos on this game. So let's travel back up here to the sleeper game, the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions coming off of a big win, but the Cleveland Browns are coming off of a big win too. You know, I don't see Cleveland pulling it off twice in 2 weeks. I see Cleveland maybe climbing up a little bit, maybe kind of in the more situation being like right above the Dolphins. They've got a great defense. They do have a great in the Lions. They were putting it on the ground against the Ravens. They had over 200 yards rushing. I'm going to go with the Lions on this. So, what do you guys think? What are you guys' pick? What would you do differently? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. We are going to be dropping quite a few videos here in the next 2 days. Along with, we are going to be live streaming the Dallas Cowboy and Green Bay Packer game on Sunday Night Football. We will see you in the live stream. Until then, I hope you all have a great day. We've got a lot of big college football matchups on Saturday. We've got the Oregon Ducks going to Penn State. Keep your eye out for a video on that one as well. We'll see how many videos I can get done here in the next couple days, because it is a crazy day. It is a crazy week. But I will catch you guys all in the next video. Cueball out.